Hello, sixth graders. It's Mr. Gardell. Great to be back with you on this glorious day. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I really do. All right. I want to first apologize. I want to apologize. I don't have a joke today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. I'm checking my fever. Nope. 98.6. Nope. No cough. Nope, no headache, not feeling warm. I don't know. I promise I'll do my best in coming up with another joke for us next time. For now, I want to focus on today's learning in social studies, reflect back to what you did most recently, and also to look ahead. So, when we think back to our most recent learning, our focus was on watching a Minnesota becomes a state ed puzzle. Okay. Today, we're going to focus on the three branches of Minnesota's government. Now, if we think back to earlier in the school year, you focused on the three branches of the US's or federal government. And so this is primarily going to focus on only Minnesota's government and specifically the three branches. And today's going to kind of lay down the foundation for what's to come in the days ahead. And just to kind of give you some, I don't know, futuristic look ahead, is we're going to ultimately, with one or two other classmates, complete what's called an infographic. And the infographic is going to be about the three branches of government. That's why today's learning is so important. And so to me, this video will help hopefully better help you to understand what you need to specifically do and complete in order to set yourself up for success on this infographic project that you're going to start actually on Thursday. All right, so first of all, as always, complete all learning every day in social studies and lifetime fitness in numerical order. So you'll notice each of these are numbered. Right now you're doing number 1. Shortly you're going to do number 2, and then you're going to move on to number 3. So I want to help you with number 2 primarily because number 3 you've completed before. Number 3 is like an exit ticket, and it's specifically an exit ticket on the three branches of Minnesota's government. But the three branches of Minnesota's government notes, I want to focus the rest of this video on that information. So the first thing that you'll notice, and I'll highlight it for us, is to complete the learning activities in numerical order. I keep stating that over and over and over again because I believe you will learn best by completing things in numerical order. If you go out of turn, so to speak, you're going to struggle with your learning and get confused and get frustrated, and I don't want that to happen to you. So the first two steps, okay, and you'll notice that I have these first three steps bolded in black is because those are chunked. Really, I want you to look at these learning activities in three chunks. We have a black section that's bolded for us, then we have a red section that's bolded, and then a blue section that's bolded. And so really what I want you to focus on is 1, 2, and 3 for right now and nothing else. So what 1 and 2 are basically asking us to do is to read out of our online textbook, and it's specifically asking us to read AP point 0.08, point 0.09, and 10. What does AP stand for? Because you're used to like 6.09, 7.05, 8.12, and all of a sudden now I throw an AP at you. AP simply means the appendix. And so right now I'm already logged into our Northern Lights online textbook. I'm going to scroll all the way down until I see the appendix, which is what AP stands for. I'm going to click read, and I'm going to scroll forward to page AP.08 because that's the first page that I'm being asked to read. And I think I went too far ahead. I did. So I'm going to stop right here. What you're going to do first is read about the three branches of government. Focus on these two short paragraphs. Okay. You don't need to focus on this graphic or image because this really focuses on the federal level of the three branches of government, which would be the government in Washington, D.C. Once you finish reading that introduction on the three branches of government, then scroll ahead to AP.09 and AP.10. Now we're going to start digging in to the executive branch, which some people would describe as enforcers of law. And again, this is all focused on Minnesota. not the federal level, which again is Washington, D.C. This graphic or image might be helpful to you. So keep that in the back of your head, that AP.09. There's a really good visual for me to help me to better understand the three branches of Minnesota's government. So the first thing that you're going to do is to read these two paragraphs on page AP.09 on the executive branch, and then read this last paragraph on the top of AP.10. And so, what I want you to be thinking about as you're reading those three short paragraphs on the executive branch of Minnesota's government or the enforcers of law, think about what the central or main ideas are. Okay, what's the most important? What is the role of this executive branch in Minnesota? Now, enforcers of law, you might want to include that as your notes. That's a really good note. So, that might be something you include in your notes because ultimately, what you're going to complete is notes on each of the three branches. So where do I find those notes? So let's just say hypothetically I'm finished reading those three paragraphs. Where do I find these notes? These notes you can open with Kami. So I'm going to click on that right now. Keep in mind I can still go back and see the directions for what I need to do. And remember, I'm completing everything in numerical order. So here's my notes. The first thing that I want to remind you about, whenever you complete your own notes in Kami, you should see your initials in the upper right hand corner. They're my initials. Eventually, when you're finished, you will turn in and turn in again. You have to click on it once, turn in, and then click on turn in again so that these notes get sent to your HOA teacher. And when I say notes, I mean completed notes. So I'm going to click on text box. I'm going to keep the font size at 16. Remember, I'm a lot older than you, so I probably doesn't need the font size to be bigger. But I'm going to just pick the color black. And here we go. What I would encourage you to do is to have a minimum of 4 bullet point notes for each branch. And so where do I find bullet notes? Up at the very top. Up here, it will say bullet point list. I'm just going to click on that. And remember, our first notes can be what this title included, or enforcers, whoops, of the law, or enforcers of law. So that's my first note. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I just click enter on my technology device, and then I get another bullet point note, and then I would type another note here, another, oops, note here, and lastly, another note here. So again, I have at least 4 bullet points for each branch of government. And make sure your notes are detailed, because you don't want to have to go back in a couple of days from now and reread about the executive branch, judicial branch, and legislative branch. So really make sure you take detailed notes so that you understand what the executive, judicial, and legislative branches are without having to go back. So that's why notes are so important. And that if you take the time now to complete your notes, it'll make your quote unquote job a lot easier down the road. Okay. And again, if you want to have 7 bullet point notes, have at it. One thing you'll notice in the directions, it will state complete the executive branch section on the 3 branches of government notes. What are the major central ideas of the executive branch? And add a picture in a rectangular box above the executive branch that best represents this branch of Minnesota's government. Okay, so make sure you think about this in 2 folds. One, my notes, right? Make sure I have detail notes. And then when I'm finished, I'm going to come up with an image to put up here that kind of helps me to better understand what the executive branch is. So where do I find an image? I'm going to scroll to add media. Okay, again, I'm still in Kami. I'm going to click on the G, and I'm going to complete a Google image search. And I'm just going to type in executive branch. And because we're focused on Minnesota, I'm going to click or type Minnesota. And there you go. Okay, there's some options for you. Now, this person is Governor Walz. Maybe I want to have him as my image. So I double click on or click on him once, click the word select, okay. And now I can move this image around, and I can make it much smaller by just grabbing a corner and shrinking it to size. Boom, there it is. I now have an image that will help me to better understand the executive branch, because I know after my reading that the leader of the executive branch is the governor, in this case, Governor Tim Walz. All right, any questions that you have for me about that, please let me know. Otherwise, you can contact your HOA teacher and you will do pretty much the same exact thing for the other two branches. But again, focus on chunking this information. Whoops, I didn't highlight it correctly, sorry for you. But focus on chunking this. So the next two numbers I'm going to complete are 4 and 5. On the judicial branch, I'll go back to my notes, put my notes here, put an image up here, and when I'm finished with that, I'll move on to the final of the three chunks, which will be on the legislative branch. I'm just highlighting it for you. Read about that, complete my notes, add my image, and then make sure that I turn in, and then click turn in one more time, and then they will be submitted to your HOA teacher. Make sure you utilize the textbook, not another resource. The textbook is an excellent resource for us, specifically on the three branches of government. And if I just scroll forward, I can see here's the reading for the judicial branch starting on AP 10. And then it continues to the top of page AP 12, and then you can see the short section on the legislative branch. Alrighty, so again, really take your time today, focus on the question, what is the main or central ideas about each of these branches? In other words, what is the role of each branch? Make sure you have at least 4 bullet pointed notes under each branch. Make sure you have an image for each branch. And when you are completed with all 3 branches, turn in, and then you are finished. And then wait for a couple of days, and then you will use these notes, okay, with a partner or two to complete the infographic project on Minnesota's 3 branches of government. Alrighty, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or your HOA teacher. Thank you for your time. Take care and have a fantastic day.